Come to persecute. A man's gotta have a hobby. When I burst in on Sapphire, she was playing with a huge pile of money. Now, I'm not a suspicious person. Well, that's not true, is it? So how do you think having a murder pull in? Shut up. I don't feel... Not with you. Where did Sapphire get all that money from? Ha, ha, ha. You never give up, dear. That's considered an asset in my line of work. Just leave me alone, Luton. I'm sick of the sight of you. I'm sick of talking to you, and I am sick of all your damn questions. Look, you know I'm not gonna give up. Why not just pretend you've held out for a commendable length of time and finally cracked? It could be our little secret. Luton, if anyone starts saving up to get an assassin for you, let me know, will you? That's one cause I'd gladly give generously to. In the meantime, what about Sapphire's money? I didn't even know she had any money. She claims to have won it over at the casino. At Saturnalia? You've got to be kidding. If Sapphire had a big win, the whole town would know about it by now. No, I'd be prepared to bet it has something to do with whoever she met when she missed her shift. Who did she meet? I've no idea. All I know is she missed her shift because she had to meet someone. Thanks for your help. Oh, it's always a pleasure, Luton. I've got some more questions.
Leave her alone.
I've got some more questions for you, Sapphire.
Sapphire busy. Leave her alone.
I hear you had a mysterious meeting not too long ago. Not long after, you turn up with a lot of money. Sounds like an awfully big coincidence to me.
Stop harassing Sapphire. Already told Luton. Won the money at Saturnalia.
Right. The frayed rope in the rafters was the same as the rope around Mundy's legs. The rope that used to be tied to the grapple. That had to mean that Mundy was hung upside down and then killed. And that meant someone cut him down after he was killed. Curiouser and curiouser. Looking closely at the frayed rope hanging from the rafters, I knew that Mundy had been tied up by the legs and then hung from the ceiling. I didn't know why. Frankly, I wondered if I really wanted to know why. Something very strange was going on. I had a hunch there was a connection, but I needed to go one step at a time. I'd learnt that Mundy had been hung upside down by his legs before he was killed. On the wall of Mundy's room, someone had written the word Azil in blood. I didn't know what it meant. On the wall, I didn't know. Useful though they are, an exit is just an exit. Useful though they are. Come to persecute. A man's gotta have a hobby. I've been thinking hard about Mundy's death, and there's something that doesn't add up. Oh, enthrall me with your erudite wisdom, great one. When Mundy was killed, he was hanging from the ceiling, but when the watch turned up, he was on the ground. Maybe the killer cut him down when he was dead. I don't think so. I think that message was written by Mundy, and I don't think the killer saw him write it, which means someone must have cut him down. Somebody who was in that room cut Mundy down. I don't think it was the killer, and I know it wasn't me. What are you getting at? You cut him down, didn't you? Why should I tell you? I've already told you. I don't think the killer would have cut him down. Which means if you cut him down, you're in the clear. All right, yeah, so I cut him down. Happy now? Why? Not everything has a reason, Luton. But people can usually find reasons for what they do. Well, draw your own conclusions. I was missing something, but I couldn't see what. You cut down Mundy so you could search him, didn't you? What are you suggesting? Nothing worse than the truth. You're a liar and a thief. All right, Luton. What is it you want? What have I got to do to get you to leave? Just give me what you found in Mundy's boot, and I'll leave you alone. Here. You want it? Have it. It's worthless anyway. What is it? How the hell should I know? Now, I kept my end of the bargain. You keep yours. Leave me alone. We'll see, Mencken. I figure I owe you at least one lie. Get out, Luton. In my own time, Mencken had given me a small coin. But it wasn't any type of coin I recognized. I guess I should be grateful to the half-elf for keeping the clue away from the watch. But frankly, I just didn't like the little weasel. That's all for now. Always a pleasure. In my head was a list of suspects for killing Mundy, and Al Kali had gone straight in at number 1.
Mr. Luton, I am so pleased to see you.
The feeling's not mutual, Al Kali. What do you want?
All in good time, Mr. Luton.
Why do I get a feeling that Al Kali isn't your real name? It's not very dwarfish.
My name is of little consequence, Mr. Luton, and the story of how I acquired it will have to wait for another time. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Now, why would you want to carry an axe?
To hack at people, Mr. Luton. An axe is the weapon of choice for a dwarf. You should know that.
Why kill me now? What's the point?
I'm not planning to kill you, Mr. Luton. I merely need the axe as a deterrent should you wish to try something foolish.
I don't try foolish things. Sometimes they just happen.
Then I suggest you don't let them happen now.
When you've finished searching me, I know a nice restaurant we can go to.
So, you have been a busy man, Mr. Luton. I think you'd better come with me.
Is there an alternative?
That would depend on how attached you are to your arms and legs, and how much you want them to remain attached to you.
I didn't know where Al-Khali was taking me, but I was now sure he wasn't going to kill me. He could have done that in my office, and it would have been days before anyone found the body. No, he wanted me for something. I just didn't know what. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting to be taken to see a troll. I've seen some unusual things in my life, but a troll and a dwarf working together? That was something else. Ankh-Morpork wasn't hot at that time of year, but the big troll was sitting back in a wicker chair being fanned. Smart. Out of the cold of the mountains, overheating of their silicon brains was the reason for the trademark stupidity of the trolls. I'd have to watch my step with this one. Al-Khali had a brief whispered conversation with the troll, but I couldn't make out what was said. At one point, I thought I heard Al-Khali mention a coin from Sorta, but the rest was a mystery.
Mr. Luton, so glad you could come and join us, and so punctually, too. Yes, I know you were escorted by Mr. Al-Khali here, but the fact that you arrived on time shows that you didn't put up any show of resistance, which means you're intelligent enough to realize that we are not your enemies. And since we are not enemies, there is always the possibility that we might be friends. You are a quiet man?
No, I like to talk, but I like to dance, too. And the trick in both is knowing when to lead and when to follow.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. I distrust a quiet man. He generally picks the wrong time to talk and says the wrong things. A talking is something you cannot do judiciously unless you keep in practice. I'll tell you right out. I'm a troll who likes talking to people who like to talk.
What shall we talk about?
What indeed do friends talk about?
Most friendships don't start out with one of the friends being led around by an axe-wielding dwarf. While we're at it, most people know the names of their friends.
Of course. How impolite of me. Mr. Al-Khali, I believe you already know. And my name is Jasper Horst. Perhaps you've heard of me.
I have a bad memory for names. It gets me into a lot of trouble.
You have a bad attitude as well. That also gets you into trouble.
Now, Mr. Al-Khali. It doesn't do to slander a guest, especially one whom you hope to count among your friends.
So, if we're friends, I guess Al-Khali's warning about staying off the Mundy case was just a friendly warning.
Straight to the point. I do admire a man who avoids skirting the issues. Such a man makes an excellent politician, but is almost impossible to trust. Well, sir, it seems you are now in the possession of something that we would like.
And what might that be?
Come now, sir. There's no need to play coy. We know you were the last person Mundy saw, and we know you have the coin from Sorter. Frankly, sir, we know you have the golden sword, and we wish to make an offer for it.
What if I told you it wasn't for sale?
Don't be tedious, Mr. Luton. We obviously know that you are in the employ of Carlotta. Hence we know that you have a price. Whatever she is offering you, we can safely offer double. And unlike Carlotta, I am a troll of my word.
What if she's offering me something that you can't match?
You don't strike me as a man who would fall for Carlotta's moves, sir. You strike me as a man with better judgment than that. Are you loyal to Carlotta?
I am loyal to one person and one person alone. Me.
That's wonderful. I do like a man who isn't afraid to tell you that he is looking after himself.
We're all looking after ourselves.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. And I don't trust a man who says he's not.
Trust seems very important to you, Horst.
Indeed. Without trust, we are no better than barbarians. It is the capacity for trust that sets the humans, trolls, dwarfs, and such above the lesser animals.
That and our capacity for cruelty.
What a dark outlook you have, sir. Are you a pessimist?
Pessimism is a term used by optimists to attempt to discredit those who see the world as it really is.
You are a man of the world, sir. I like that about you.
Tell me about the golden sword, Horst.
Carlotta didn't tell you what it was?
Horst seemed to think I knew things that I didn't, and that could give me the advantage. I decided it was time for a good bluff. She told me, but I took it for granted she was lying.
A not injudicious thing to do.
Let's cut to the chase. How much will you pay me for the sword?
Suffice it to say, I will pay you its value.
That doesn't give me much to go on.
You will appreciate, sir, that a golden sword like that is a difficult artifact to sell. Indeed, you would draw a lot of attention were you to attempt to do so. I will offer you what the sword is worth, and that, I can assure you, is more than Carlotta is offering you.
I could use a figure.
I don't like to commit myself to fixed fees. Those who set exact price tags leave themselves no room to negotiate when the circumstances change. Rest assured that it will exceed $10,000 at the least.
10,000, eh? I'll think about it. Does the word Azil mean anything to you?
Come, sir. Let us not stray from the matters in hand.
Well, it's been nice talking to you, Horst, but I have other things to do.
I trust you will keep in touch, sir. I look forward to hearing your decision.
You're letting him go?
Come now, Mr. Alcali. Mr. Luton is our friend and associate. He is free to come and go as he pleases.
I'll let you know what I decide, Horst.
But of course, goodbye, Mr. Luton. For now.
I was starting to piece together what was going on. Whatever this sword was, it was clear that Mundy brought it into town with him on the Milka. I guess he was the courier. For who, wasn't clear. He must have hidden it in one of the crates on the Milka and then broken into the warehouse to recover it. Only the watchman stopped him before he could retrieve it. None of which told me where the sword was, or even what the sword was. One thing was clear. I needed to talk to Carlotta. Still here?
Here's as good as anywhere.
Do you want to know what happened with Mundy?
That's what I'm paid.
Is it? I'm starting to.
Don't you like me, Luton?
What's not to like? You're a woman.
Do you look down on...
I have plenty of distaste. I want to talk to you about something important.
Really? I can't wait.
Not here. It's too public.
Your place or mine?
Yours is probably safer.
Let's go.
We barely spoke at all on the way over, and there was a certain tension between us. God's help me, I liked it.
Well, we're alone. What did you want to talk to me about?
You've got a lot of smooth moves, Carlotta. You've managed to string me along like a kitten.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you lying to me, sister. I'm talking about the way you used me to track down Mundy, and how you are planning to cut me out of the action when I found him.
You're paranoid, Luton.
Oh, I know I'm paranoid. But just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean you're not a lying, thieving lowlife. Tell me about the golden sword.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do. And so does Jasper Horst.
You spoke to Horst?
Yes, I spoke to Horst. And he seemed to think that I had possession of the sword. Apparently Mundy had it, only he died before he could deliver it. Horst thinks I killed him and took the sword.
I didn't want you to get involved, Luton. It was too dangerous.
Ah, don't pull the hysterical woman act on me, Carlotta. It won't work.
All right, you got me. I used you. Everybody uses everyone, Luton. It's the way of things. Friendships are just what happens when you've used someone for so long, it becomes habitual.
You're a bitter little lady.
It's a bitter little world. What now?
You tell me everything.
Why?
Because you need me.
I don't need anyone.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? But even you aren't totally independent, Carlotta. You need the Count's money, for one. One word from me and I could get you cut off.
He wouldn't dare. He's too bound by tradition.
Perhaps, but can you really afford to take that chance?
What's the deal, Luton?
Straight cut. I'll help you recover the sword. We split the profit.
You think you can trust me enough for that to work?
No, but this isn't about trust. It's about money. You don't trust me any more than you trust Horst. But I figure you'd work with him if it got you the money.
You're smart, Luton, but you've got one thing wrong.
What's that?
I trust you more than I trust Horst.
Oh, I'm touched. But I reckon you'd trust a rattlesnake before you'd trust Horst.
You're a good judge of character.
Hang around with scum long enough and you learn to tell the different types of scum apart. Horst is the treacherous kind.
What about me?
You're just a woman, Carlotta, and that's not a compliment.
Why do you hate women so much?
I hate everyone and everything. No one gets special treatment. Now tell me the real story between you and Mundy.
Mundy wasn't my lover. He was my contact. He was supposed to be bringing the artifact in from Sota. But something went wrong on the way. I don't know what it was, but Mundy never made his rendezvous. I went with Regan to the wharf to meet him, but he wasn't there.
Do you know what happened to Regan after that?
He dropped me at the Temple of Small Gods, and that's the last I saw of him.
Did he know what was going on?
Regan? Ha! No, I never told him anything. Everything I told him would have gone straight to the Count.
That would give you a pretty strong motive for killing Regan.
My, you are a suspicious one, aren't you?
It's a hobby. Anything else you haven't told me?
I'm sure there's plenty of things I haven't told you. The girl's got to have some secrets.
You're trouble, Carlotta.
Admit it, Luton. You like trouble.
What if I do?
I know what's going on inside of you, Luton. You're just like any other man, only a little more so.
When she kissed me, fire burned in my veins and I felt alive. Have you ever kissed someone who you didn't know whether to love or to hate? Well, other than your parents. Not that I'm prying into your private life, just trying to get my point across. Something changed in me at that point, and I knew I'd never be the same again.
I guess we have a deal then.
With my brains and your looks, we could go places.
What about with my brains and your looks?
We could still go places. They just wouldn't be as nice. So, now we're working together, is there anything you'd like to tell me?
What like?
Anything you've kept back from me? Any lies you'd like to confess to, and secrets you're still hiding?
A girl's got to have some secrets, Luton.
Now that there are no secrets between us, do you know what this is?
I've no idea. Some sort of coin?
You must have known something about the Milka's cargo.
Yes, I had a crate amongst the cargo. It wasn't carrying anything important. It was just for Mundy to hide the sword in if it became necessary.
But the sword wasn't in the crate.
No. The last I saw of the crate, Regan had it. I don't know where it is now.
Do you have anything that might help me find it?
I have a shipping order. You can have it if it's useful to you.
It could be. Any lead is a good one at the moment. I'll see you around, Carlotta.
I hope so.
I'm back.
Let's have a party.
I've come to collect some cargo.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna swallow that, aren't I? I mean, you come up asking questions about cargo, and I won't tell you about the cargo. Then, miraculously, you're here to collect some cargo. You must think I was born yesterday.
Well, I can always take this shipping order to your boss and say that you wouldn't let me collect my cargo.
Okay. Well, let's not be too hasty, eh? I mean, I have to be skeptical, right? I'm a watchman. Where would we be if people like me weren't just a little bit cynical? All right. You win.
I eventually persuaded the watchman to show me the ledger for the recent deliveries. The milker had been carrying some wine barrels that were shipped to the Café Ankh and some crates under the name Varberg. According to the watchman, they were collected by the Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators. I guess somewhere was the von Uberwald crate that went with the shipping order, but the watchman didn't know about it, and there was no sign of it in the warehouse. I knew full well that I wouldn't be able to get down there without permission and the right key. Taking a break, Samael? Oh, yes. It's not easy working the piano all night. Well, I'm sure you deserve it. Thank you, Mr. Luton. You don't have to call me Mr. Samael. We're old friends. Sure thing, Mr. Luton. Old friends. I reckon I've earned a right to call you Mister. As long as that's what you want. How's business, Samael? It's pretty good, Mr. Luton. How are things with you? Not so good. I think I'm so deep in trouble that I haven't even realized it yet. You haven't had much luck, have you, Mr. Luton? Not since the Hotel Pseudopolis. That was when... Oh, I see. That's okay, Samael. I don't mind talking to you about it. You're like family. Apparently, some of the cargo on the Milka was delivered here. That's right. The Milka always brings us a supply of amphibian wine. Where is it now? Most of it is still in the wine cellar. We sell some of it on. Who to? Lots of different people. I have a box of receipts in the cellar if you're interested. Sure. I'll give you the key. Samael. Mr. Luton. Do you know anything about the crate belonging to the von Uberwalds that was on the Milka? Sorry, Mr. Luton, I don't know anything about that. Do you know anything about the Varberg crates that were on the Milka? Sorry, Mr. Luton. Thanks again, Samael. No problem, Mr. Luton. Years ago, it would have been my dream to stand in the Café Ankh's wine cellar. So many barrels of fine wine. Even Chateau Hector, Year of the Weevil. My favorite vintage. I used to dream of Ilsa, too, from time to time. So when I walked in to find Ilsa there, I had to check I wasn't wearing my pajamas. Hello again, Ilsa. I can see I'm going to have to get used to finding you where I least expect. You didn't say goodbye at the casino. What happened to you?
We got away, thanks to you.
It was nothing.
It wasn't nothing. You saved our lives, Luton.
Lulu, is that you?
What's up with him?
He's delirious. He's been injured.
Let me have a look at his wound.
He'll be fine. He needs a chance to rest, that's all. He fades in and out a little, but he'll be okay.
What happened?
It was Remora. He's been following us. He won't quit.
He's an assassin. It's his job. Once they've been paid, the target is as good as dead. They never renege on a contract. They throw great soirees as well, and if they invite you, they won't take no for an answer.
That's not much comfort.
Well, at least you know if an assassin kills you, you're not going to be killed by some thug. They're very efficient at it. Practice makes perfect, you might say. I was going to be an assassin once.
What happened?
The usual. Forces outside my control.
It is you, from casino. You save our life. We to be in your debt.
I guess you to be just that.
We need your help, Luton.
Haven't I done enough for you?
I know it's a lot to ask after what happened.
Women. It's never enough for you, is it?
Please, you have to find us somewhere safe to hide.
Why? Why should I do that for you? Why should I do anything for you?
Not for what happened, Luton. For what we had. Once.
We had a dream. Trouble is, I woke up and I could still remember it. You two must know about a lot of ancient artifacts.
Of course. Why do you ask?
Ever heard of a golden sword?
Golden sword. You have to be being more precise. Must be 50 golden sword artifacts in Agatean Empire alone.
But then they do have a lot of gold. That's why they call it the Orient.
Does this coin mean anything?
My word! That looks just like 2305.
What?
Number 2305. One of the artifacts we dug up in Sorta. It's an early Sortian coin, I think. Your having one would seem to confirm that.
What makes you say that?
Well, we only found one, so we thought it might be a seal with some symbolic or cultural significance. But if there's more than one, then it's probably just a coin.
Is it valuable?
Not really.
Does he know about us?
Two conkers? No, I never told him.
Why not?
He's my husband.
You're married?
I always was, even when I met you.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's not as simple as that. I met two conkers in Ikalpon. He was on a secret dig for the Sun Emperor and we fell in love.
I thought the Agateans weren't supposed to know about the outside world.
That's true, but the outside world isn't supposed to know about the Agatean Empire either. Trouble is, centuries ago, their empire spread beyond the counterweight continent, and there's archaeological evidence for the strange and charmed quack dynasties all along the Turnwise Ocean coast. The Sun Emperor sent two conkers out to cover up the evidence.
This doesn't explain why you didn't tell me you were married when we met.
Two conkers went back to the Agatean Empire, and I stayed behind. He wasn't sure I'd be safe there as an outsider. I didn't think I'd ever see him again. He might as well have died. I almost died too, until I met you.
Great. I was your number 2 husband.
You don't understand, Luton. I didn't love two conkers. I mean, I was infatuated with him, and he needed me. I was nothing before I met him. He gave me a purpose. He gave me a life.
Oh, that's good. Because he took mine. At least his accounts will balance. He came back, didn't he? That's why you left me.
Yes. I got a letter from him saying that the government had been overthrown and the empire was a new world. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't think you'd understand.
At least you got that right. So, you're Mrs. Ilsa Conkers.
No, I kept my maiden name. Our marriage was supposed to be a secret.
So you've been traveling with two conkers for quite a while now.
Yes, we've been making our way around the Circle Sea. There have been several digs.
And everything you find goes back to the Agatean Empire.
No, not now. There's no point. Most of it comes here to Ankh-Morpork. We give it to the Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators. They have quite a collection of artifacts.
That's it? You spend your life digging up junk that no one ever sees?
We're looking for something. Something two conkers wants to take back to the Agatean Empire.
What is it?
A jewel.
Jewel. Find the jewel, yes?
Tell me about this jewel.
Gold-plated jewel. Very old.
I thought the Agatean Empire had plenty of gold.
Special artifact. Gold to be making it come from Agatean Empire. Stolen by one of your gods. Great fortune to Empire if it can be returned to us.
How will you know if you found it?
Gold-plated jewel not common. This jewel be having inscription. Unquam paratas.
It means forever ready.
You don't even know if this jewel actually exists, do you?
We've just come from a dig in Sota. It's a village near the ruins of the ancient city of Sort. We found inscriptions there of many artifacts, including this jewel. It exists, all right. We just haven't been able to find it.
If all these inscriptions were in Sorta, what are you doing here in Ankh-Morpork?
That's just it. The inscriptions claim that the jewel is here in Ankh-Morpork. Apparently, after the fall of Sort, the jewel was held by monks in the village of Sota. But over 4 centuries, the Knights of the Order of the Sacred Tulip went out on quests to find it.
Why?
They were knights. They went on foolish quests all the time. It was a knight thing. I think all the different orders competed to outdo each other in foolishness. I heard the Knights of the Fairly Pink Triangle spent 2 centuries looking for a better name.
And you think one of the knights found it?
Apparently. The inscription said he took it to Ankh-Morpork, there to guard it forever.
Forever?
You know these ancient inscriptions. They have a tendency to exaggerate everything. It probably meant nearly forever.
I'll be back.
We're not going anywhere.
Two Conkers was in no state to talk to me. I rooted carefully through the receipts, and the only recent purchaser was the patrician. It seems he'd bought a number of barrels of fine wine to take to the palace. I guess the golem I'd seen at the cafe was owned by Lord Veterinary.